In a village surrounded by lush green hills and the sound of nature, Kelechi and Ifeoma were known as a loving couple. Their union was strong and they shared many joyful moments. But even the strongest bonds faced challenges. One fateful morning, a disagreement between them escalated into a fierce quarrel. Words flew like arrows and soon their pride grew taller than the palm trees that lined their village. Instead of making peace, they chose to retreat into silence, each refusing to be the first to apologize. The days turned into nights, and their home, once filled with warmth and chatter, became as quiet as the deep forest at dusk. Kelechi and Ifeoma continued their daily routine, each pretending the other didn't exist. They cooked, walked, and slept in the same space, but the great wall of silence stood between them, built brick by brick with stubbornness. As the silence stretched into day, Ifeoma, with her sharp mind and wit, devised a plan. She walked to the marketplace and returned with a small lively monkey which she named Kosi. Bringing Kosi home, she placed the monkey in the center of their hut, his curious eyes darting between Kelechi and Ifeoma. That evening, as Kelechi sat quietly by the fire, Ifeoma began talking to Kosi. Kosi, you are so stubborn. You think you can just sit there and ignore me? Pride, Kosi, pride will destroy you one day. She wagged her finger at the monkey, who responded with playful chattering, not understanding the tension in the air. Kelechi, though his heart softened at Ifeoma's word, refused to break his silence. He knew that Ifeoma's words were meant for him, but his pride was a powerful force that kept his lips sealed. But Kelechi was not one to back down easily. The next morning, he walked to the market and returned with a large, colorful parrot. He named the bird Olachi and brought it into their home. When Ifeoma saw the parrot, she glanced at Kelechi but said nothing, her eyes narrowing in challenge. That evening, as Ifeoma continued her conversation with Kosi, Kelechi began speaking to Olachi. Olachi, why do you refuse to listen? You always think you know best, don't you? But remember, pride comes before a fall. The parrot squeaked loudly, echoing Kelechi's word as if adding its own voice to the tense atmosphere. For days, their home was filled with this strange conversation. Kelechi with Olachi and Ifeoma with Kosi. The villagers noticed the odd behavior, and soon whispers spread through the community about the stubbornness of Kelechi and Ifeoma, who were now speaking only to animals. Then one evening, Kelechi returned home to a delicious aroma wafting from the kitchen. He smiled, thinking Ifeoma had cooked something special. But when he looked for Olachi, the parrot was nowhere to be found. His heart sank as he realized what had happened. With a mix of anger and disbelief, he stormed into the kitchen and asked, Ifeoma, where is Olachi? How could you cook my companion? Ifeoma, without missing a beat, looked up from the pot and replied with a smile, did you not eat Kosi when I brought him into our home? I named him to speak to you, and you cooked him, so I've cooked your companion as well. Kelechi was stunned. He stood in silence, the absurdity of the situation washing over him. And then, without warning, he began to laugh, a deep, hearty laugh that he hadn't felt in days. Ifeoma, seeing him laugh, couldn't hold back, and soon joined him. Their laughter echoed through the walls of their home, spilling out into the village. In that moment, they realized how foolish their pride had been. The animals had become their voice, but in the end, it was their shared loss and shared laughter that brought them back together. They understood that silence could be a weapon, but it was love and forgiveness that truly healed wounds. From that day forward, Kelechi and Ifeoma vowed never to let pride come between them again. The villagers often told the story of Kelechi and Ifeoma, reminding themselves that while stubbornness can break even the strongest bond, love and laughter can mend them. And so, Kelechi and Ifeoma lived in peace, their love becoming a beacon of wisdom. for all who heard their tale.